Welcome to Pleasant Hill Vineyards, where we don't make wine, we grow wine. Today, you'll journey through the stages of wine production from vine to bottle. Winemaking has 7 stages: growth, harvesting, destemming, pressing, fermentation, aging, and bottling. It all begins here in the vineyard. The quality of the wine is deeply rooted in the health of the grapes. For much more in this video.
Hello, yes, my name is Ross Corder, and I'm one of the owners of Pleasant Hill Vineyards. My son and daughter-in-law are also part owners. We started this winery together, and of course, your wine starts in the vineyard. This is our Noret grapes. We raise Noret, Deschanach, Fauche, and we did Sauvignon. We raise French hybrids. They're in the same latitude as France, and they grow really well in Ohio. Again, these are 6-foot-high trellises. We do what's called top wire cordon, which means that our cordons are on the top wire instead of the lower wire, which will be a VSP cordon. We start out in end of February with our pruning. We prune them back to so many. We use spurt. We spurt train our grapes, so we use so many spurs, so many shoots. We count buds. From that, we go on to thinning. We net during after veraison or color change of the grape. Keep the birds off. We net over a mile of vineyard.
At Pleasant Hill Vineyards, we track growth meticulously for each grape variety, monitoring sugar levels to determine the perfect time for harvesting. Our 3 varieties, Deschanach, Noret, and Fauche, take 150 to 155 days to ripen, depending on the climate in that season.
Sugar is what we use to make the wine. We shoot for a certain amount of sugar in each grape. And that is, we try to shoot for 22 to 24 bricks, which will give us 12 to 13% alcohol.
Here, 80% of the harvest is done by hand. Hand harvesting ensures only the best, ripe grapes are picked, minimizing damage to the fruit and resulting in higher quality wine. Once harvested, the grapes are quickly transported to the winery to prevent oxidation or fermentation before processing begins. It takes less than an hour from the vineyard to the crusher. Next comes destemming. Here, the grapes are separated from their stems. At Pleasant Hill, we don't keep stems for added tannins. We destem 95% of the harvest to avoid any unwanted bitterness. Grapes are gently crushed to release fresh juice. This is known as must. Must contains the juice, skins, seeds, and stems of the grapes. And it's here that the magic begins. Sample of the must is picked, and here we test the sugar levels of the grapes.
Right now I'm finding my sugar levels, so I know how much alcohol I'm ending up with, and I know how much I got to kill the wild yeast, so I'm putting potassium sulfite in to kill the wild yeast. And then tomorrow, after 12 hours, we will inoculate it with commercial yeast. But this is our first readings, the temperature, SO2 levels, which is your sulfur levels, and your sugar levels. And that's going to be the basis of our wine. From there on, we know how much alcohol we're going to have, and we'll start finishing out from there.
After these levels are tested, we are ready to add the yeast to the must. The yeast is prepared with Go Firm and distilled water. You will ask, what is Go Firm? Go Firm is a yeast rehydration nutrient that helps yeast ferment more vigorously and finish more completely. It also provides yeast with vitamins and minerals that help it withstand fermentation conditions.
Yes, what we're doing right now is preparing the yeast to inoculate the juice, the must. I'm using a French yeast with this. We use Go Firm to help get the yeast started, and we cool it down to 104 degrees before we add the yeast, which is at 104 right now. Slowly add this, then we'll let it stand for 20 minutes, and then after 20 minutes we will add equal parts of the must to get it to really taking off. We'll let that stand for 20 minutes, then we'll inoculate the must, and we'll start turning that into wine.
When the yeast is done mixing, it is added to the must and made to settle for at least 20 minutes. During this time, you will see bubbles popping up on the surface of the must. This shows the yeast has started working. After 20 minutes, the solution is added to the main tanks for fermentation to begin. What is the purpose of yeast? Yeast consumes the sugar in the grapes, converting into alcohol and carbon dioxide. At this stage, temperature control is key. Fermentation is kept at 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This affects flavor, color, and aroma, and helps activate the yeast.
Alrighty, we are dumping, we are inoculating the yeast slurry to the must. The must is at 23 bricks, which should give us, when this is all fermented, we'll start fermentation. When it's all fermented, it should give us right around 12.5% alcohol. So we're dumping the slurry in, and I'm just going to let it sit. And hopefully in 5 to 6 days, we've got a beautiful wine. And this is where you take it from juice to wine.
During fermentation, the must releases carbon dioxide, and you have to see the must bubbling. Fermentation lasts between 7 to 21 days depending on the wine style. During this time, winemakers constantly monitor sugar and alcohol levels. The target alcohol content varies between 12 to 14% for most wines. As fermentation progresses, the Brix level drops, signaling that sugars are being converted into alcohol. Once the desired level is reached, fermentation is halted to retain the wine's balance of flavors. After fermentation, the wine is ready to be racked.
So at this stage, we're taking the wine off the skins. The wine's done fermenting. It's got a few bricks left, so we'll let that finish in the tanks and put an airlock bubbler on it. But I'm taking them off the skins at this point, the free run. Then we're going to take all the skins out, run them through the press, and get the residual press wine as well. We'll put that all together. We'll fill several of these tanks up through here and in the other racking room.
As you can see, the extra skins after the free run are being put into the racking machine to release extra juice. This pressed wine is typically richer in tannins and phenolics, which gives body and flavor to the wine, hence a stronger mouthfeel. Let's explore the next step, aging. At Pleasant Hill, we store and age our wines in stainless steel tanks manufactured in France. We use the 1,000, 600, 500, and 300 liter tank sizes. With these capacities, we are able to age 35,000 liters of wine in our tanks, which allows us to produce the 35 to 40,000 bottles a year.
Now we're at the last stage of the Noré variety of grape that we're bottling. I got the bottle here is 6 bottles at a time. We take the Noré that we've produced several years ago, and we've had it racked, and we'll pump it up from these tanks up to a filling tank up here, so it's all gravity fed into the bottler, so we don't disturb the wine too much. Then we take it through this process to the corking. We hand cork, then we move it through and label on this end, and then we'll shrink the caps, and then we'll load them up and put them into the racking room. So we'll do, I usually do about 60 gallons at a time for one wine. Sometimes we'll do 2 or 3 bottlings. So we'll do anywhere from 600 to 900 bottles in about half a day, along with my helpers here.
After the hand corking, we wrap the labels around the bottle and the seal is placed on top. And finally, the wine is ready to be enjoyed by wine lovers in Athens and beyond. From vine to bottle, each stage of wine production is a delicate balance of nature, craftsmanship, and science. At Pleasant Hill Vineyards, this tradition continues, creating wines that reflect the passion of the land and the people who nurture it.